The internet right now is a complete goddamn mess. Like, oh my lord. There was around about a day ago, there was a YouTuber by the name of Mr. T Lexify, and I am going to make a separate video on that whole entire situation altogether, because honestly, there is so much to go over in that video that it's absolutely ridiculous. But there is one thing that I'm going to pick out of that video, and I want to make a separate video, because honestly, that's how bad all of this stuff is that he had addressed. But during his video where he was talking about his abusive relationship that he had with one of his ex-girlfriends, is that he stated that during EDC in 2021, that a YouTuber named NoahJ cheated on his then wife with Fuslie, who is a streamer who originally was started on Twitch and then has moved over to YouTube.
When you did not listen to Noah's ex-wife Martina about Noah's scandalous behavior in 2021, which did not allow for a third Z house to happen. Noah invited all of us to Texas in September 2021 for a third Z house, yet nothing was ever filmed because Noah cheated on Martina in 2021 at EDC. And you and JC were utterly supportive of him in Texas, even inviting him to cry at our own Airbnb without my consent. It boggles my mind that you would be supportive of a man who blatantly cheated on his wife for fun, yet would not share the same sentiment to me when I was obviously in an abusive relationship that I could not escape from.
When he said this in his video, like I said, I'm going to make a separate video on that that's going to come out soon, in like a decent amount of hours after this video. But I want to make a video about this first, because when this whole entire video came out, this itself started its own subject. And I mean, rightfully so. No one knew about this before then. Only the parties that were involved, being Fuslie, NoahJ, and obviously NoahJ's ex-wife definitely would have found out about this. I'm guessing Noah would have told her, or she would have found out about it one way or another. But then also, Fuslie has also mentioned as well about how she's like told a few friends. But in terms of like the public space, no one has known about this. So the fact that this came out in his video blew the hell up. And so many things were just flying around on the internet. Twitter was just popping off, going insane. Apparently there was threads being made on Twitter about this whole entire situation as well. And obviously, after all this started to come out, and obviously the pressure was so much for both of these people to come out and say something, is that they have both now came out and did a live stream, each on their own, addressing it from their both point of views. Now, I'm going to address both of their live streams in this and give my opinions on both of them. Now, first, I'm going to go over Fuslie's live stream. She streamed for about 40 minutes, and she said that, you know, she was in her first new apartment, and, you know, it's not the particularly best environment where you want to do your first stream in your new apartment, and I kind of agree with her on that. But I'm going to go over what she kind of states in her live stream, and how I feel about her, like, you know, somewhat apology that I guess you could say, and her like coming out and airing everything out that happened. But what she says and how she mentions it, and she kind of goes over things about like a small little timeline. She doesn't really give like exact details and exact timelines of where, like, you know, everything happened, when the cheating like really did start, and like, you know, when it like exactly when it starts. But she gives more of like a vague kind of, you know, timeline of how everything happens. There was also a lot of speculation going on Twitter as well, and on the internet space, that she had also not just, you know, been a homewrecker and, you know, slept with a man and you know, with someone who, you know, was married at the time, but that she'd also cheated on her then ex-fiance, who they did break up. But that is actually false. She states in the live stream as well, is that all this occurred after she had broken up with Edison, which is what her ex-fiance's name was. And she states that that is one of the reasons why she latched on to NoahJ. And in her live stream, she states that, you know, after her breakup with her partner Edison, that she was going through a rough time. I mean, we all do. If you've ever been through a breakup, you know how much of a tough time that really is. And when she went to this event, NoahJ just happened to be there. And she says that she's someone who just yaps a lot and tends to be like, you know, a very open person, kind of just, you know, overshares, I guess you can say, in a way. And Noah was one of those people that was listening to her. And, you know, whenever someone's listening to you after you're going through a tough thing, you know, you're going to emotionally confide in them. And that's what happened. And not just that as well, is that Noah, he was going through a tough time with his marriage at that time as well, with his then wife. And he states that to her Noah as well. So they start to like bond over this trauma. And after, you know, at the event that they are at, they decide to keep talking as time goes on. And Fuslie mentions a lot of the times that during when this was going on, that, you know, when they were confiding in each other and, you know, they were, you know, doing what they were doing and all that kind of stuff, is that she was trying to, you know, mentally, you know, tell herself that what she was doing was fine. And she was trying to convince herself that it was all good, because apparently at the time as well, is that Noah was actually going through with a divorce, and that he was deciding that he wanted to, like, you know, call it off with his then wife. And Fuslie was thinking to herself that, like, oh man, the fact that he's going to, you know, divorce her, we can finally be together, you know, we can actually be in a relationship after they finish their divorce. And so she was trying to convince herself that what she was doing was great. And obviously it's not. And after, you know, the divorce happened and all that kind of stuff, is that, you know, they eventually, Fuslie and Noah, did call it off. I mean, rightfully so. I feel like when it comes to Fuslie's emotions towards him, it wasn't really that she had actual real feelings for him. It's more or less that she just, someone, you know, was listening to her and someone was giving her that emotional time, and she was just kind of latching on to that. So she was more like using him as a rebound, and he was kind of using her as a way to get away from his wife at the time, who he was going through issues with. Now, one thing that I do give Fuslie props to in this video is that at least she acknowledges that, like, what she did was wrong. And she said in that stream as well, and it's still, like, even though she still acknowledges it, it's not, you know, if you yourself say like, oh, I can't forgive her for that, that's completely understandable. And at least she mentions that in the live stream as well. Like, she says, if you can't forgive me for the actions that I've done, that's completely understandable, because the actions that she has done is horrible. And it is. If you know that someone is in a relationship and you're like emotionally confiding in that person, you know which way it's going to go. It's not a good thing to do. Like, just picture yourself being in a relationship and you and your partner are going through a tough time, and your partner is confiding in someone of the opposite sex as well, and they are starting to gain an emotional connection. You would hate that. You would absolutely not like that whatsoever. So you have every right. And even me, myself, I'm just like, Fuslie, you 100% stuffed up. But at least with her, like I said, is that in her live stream, she talks about it. She says like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, she says that, like, you know, she can't apologize enough. And I don't really think there's enough. You can't, like, it's one of those situations where no matter how many times you say sorry, it's not really gonna like make a difference. And I mean, rightfully so. You're a homewrecker. That's just how it is. You're a homewrecker. You will always be known as a homewrecker. You know, it's the same thing as like, once a cheater, always a cheater. And I think the thing that makes it like even worse for this situation is that she stated in this live stream, she's also stated in the past as well, is that she has been cheated on. So she knows what it's like to be in like that wife's shoes. So the fact that she was still going on with this, and I don't want to hear you try and make an excuse for her, because I was watching like the chat. You can go on the live stream and like watch the live chat replay. Is that so many people were trying to like make excuses for her. And like, yeah, we are human. Yeah, we make mistakes. We make mistakes all the time, but doesn't mean your mistakes are excusable. I mean, I've made mistakes in the past, 100%. Of course I have. Are those mistakes excusable? Hell nah. Hell nah. I know that some mistakes that I've made in the past are not excusable. 100%. Of course I know that. We all have. Everyone has. We are human. It's not of like forgiving someone. It's more of less of just like, you know, letting it go and keeping it in the past. And it's good to see that she's acknowledged it in this kind of way. You know, I feel like no matter what you say, you cannot make this a good situation. You cannot make yourself like come out in a good light whatsoever. But then we're going to go on to Noah J's video. And he does a live stream as well. And his live stream only goes for about 15 minutes. Which 5 minutes of it is starting soon screen. And then only about 10 minutes of it is him actually acknowledging about what he did with Fuslie in the past. And I just want to say that this is supposed to be like an apology video and coming out and say like, hey man, guys, I messed up. I did that. But really, this is horrible. It's a horrible video. It is one of the worst, what is it with YouTubers coming out and making terrible apologies? Just come out. Like, he doesn't even say, like, I messed up. He just yaps. That's all he... Like, is he cosplaying as me? Because that's all he's doing. He's moving his mouth, but no significant words are coming out of it whatsoever. Like, oh my lord. So, it's like, like, at least with Fuslie, even though it's still an inexcusable behavior and actions that she has done, and then, you know, it's actions that she'll have to live with for the rest of her life, and actions that, you know, especially because she's in the public space, people will know her for being a homewrecker for the rest of her life from now on. Like, that's how she's going to be perceived on the internet. But at least, like, in her video, she's, like, acknowledging, like, yeah, what I did was wrong, and I hate myself for it. And it was terrible. He says Noah J literally only speaks about it for like 10 minutes. And in the last 5 minutes, he's like acknowledging something else that was in Mr. T Lexify's video. And when he did acknowledge it, the man just yapped about nothing. It's literally nothing. And like, bro, just come out. Like, if you're in a controversy, this is how I would do a YouTube apology video. I mean, maybe I should prep myself because, you know, being a YouTuber, you know, you're gonna have to make one sooner or later. Let's be honest. But this is how you would do it. You just come up to the screen and you're like, hey guys, I know you heard about what happened, and what happened was really terrible, and I messed up, and what I did was horrible. I know it's horrible, and it's absolutely inexcusable, and I don't like blame you if you want to see me in a different light from now on, and that's it. And then just elaborate on that a little bit more. This guy just, oh my lord. Oh, like, there's never any accountability taken with these people whatsoever. Like, to me, like, yeah, he sounds like he's sobbing, but he doesn't look like it. Like, he doesn't even look like he really gives a shit. That's like the difference between these two videos. Is that, like, at least with her, she, you know, yes, still inexcusable, but at least she's like, I messed up. This is bad. And she's like sitting on live stream for like 40 minutes and like being like down to earth. Him, horrible. But I would like to hear what you guys have to think about all of this down below. That's going to be it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.